Everyone in society embraced personal development or improving yourself in some sort of way. And externally, it's a good thing. I mean, externally for society, doing good habits, getting rid of bad habits, these are nice external things. As we argued in part 1 of this video series, for the Muslim, and it's not good for us long term. The vehicle in which we used to develop should not be grounded in Kaffir ideology. It should not be halalified Kaffir ideology. It should be grounded and derived straight from the Quran and the Sunnah, nothing else. And so in part 2, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be breaking down exactly what Islamic self-development is and exactly how to practically implement Islamic self-development in your life, bi'idhnillah, so you can please Allah Azza wa Jal. But before we get into it, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sultan. I make videos for brothers who want to develop themselves to please Allah Azza wa Jal. And our mission here is to revive the ummah by reviving Rujula. So if you're also part of that mission, you want to gain content and learn to do that, you want that as well, subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support the channel and its mission and its aims, then go down below. You can support with the link in the description. Jazakallah khair. Islamic self-development is developing yourself as a man through the principles of Islam, derived not from Kaffir ideology, derived from the Quran and the Sunnah, right? We don't halalify Kaffir ideology, which is what we've been doing with Islamic self-improvement. But in terms of self-improvement, mainstream, the benchmark of success, and this is where it's going to start getting deeper. When you think of self-improvement, and I'll testify, this is true, the benchmark of success, and even to an extent Islamic self-improvement, if you were to halalify these concepts, every single day if you wake up and you're closer to these goals, you're progressing. Did you escape from the matrix? How rich are you? Do you have a six-pack? Are you getting girls? These are the 4 questions if you were to ask yourself every single day. If you're closer to acquiring these, you would be better on self-improvement. This is Kaffir ideology. Even if you were to halalify it and make it not haram, it's not haram, but it's not Islam. Allah didn't come and say, you have to escape the matrix and you have to get a six-pack and you have to get a wife and you have to get rich. This is not what the point was. The point of life was not about this. And the point of improving yourself and developing yourself and striving, it was not about this. And what happens when we make these benchmarks our life, and I will say, this is what happened to me, is that we fall under what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is getting angry about. Where Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Wretched is the slave of gold, silver, fine clothes and garments. If he is given, he is pleased, but if he is not given, he is displeased." Sahih Bukhari. This is how we live as Muslims. We get happy when Allah gives us and we get angry when he doesn't, because we think we deserve. Because we're not like kuffar, we do ibadah, so we deserve these good things. We're just the same. We're still the slave of the gold and silver. When we have gold and silver, we're happy. When we don't have it, we're not happy. Astaghfirullah. This is what happened to us. But what should the benchmark of success be? It should be developing yourself through the principles of Islam, especially Surah Asr. Surah Asr explains what to do with your time. Allah Azza wa Jalla speaks about how mankind is in clear loss, right? So if you don't do this, you're losing. Number 1 is Iman. Of course, saying the Shahada, but what is your relationship like with Allah every day? What is it like? Do you have a better state of your nafs? Do you live on your lower nafs? Are you still in nafs al-lawama? Are you getting up to contented soul? What is your relationship like with Allah Azza wa Jal? Are you close to Him? Do you have taqwa? Point number 2 is salihat. The deeds in your book. Are you productive? Because when we say productive, we think of an output. What is the output? The output isn't deep work. The output should be good deeds. Like Allah doesn't say you should do deep work in the ayah. He says salihat. Good deeds for His sake and to please Him. That's what's going to matter at the end of the day. If you're just doing work for these other, basic things, which we'll speak about more in depth, like just getting money. Why? Because I want to, because I was told to by some influencer. Then you're wasting time. This isn't derived from Islam. Deriving from Islam is salihat. But number 3 is haqq. Do we do da'wah towards Islam? Do we call towards Allah? Do we forbid what is evil? Do we stand for the truth? Do we have a mission for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal? Not really. We don't really call to the truth these days. And number 3, do we bear patience? Do we call to patience as well? Do we abstain from sin? Do we have better patience with our ibadah? Do we stand straight or do we stand distracted in salah? Do we, when we have trials and tribulations, do we complain and get angry and do this and this and this? How is that? When we progress in that is progress in the eyes of Allah. And therefore it's progress in Islamic self-development. And you see the difference in the paradigm of why we improve and how we improve. We don't improve so we can escape the matrix. We improve so we can get to Jannah. We improve so we can get closer to Allah. We improve because we want Him to be happy with us, right? When you change your paradigm of success to Surah Asr from these 4 other questions, every day if you ask yourself, how is my iman? How is my salihat? How is my mission? How is my da'wah? How is my, calling towards the haqq? How is my sabr? Is my abstinence of sin good? Etc. You're being successful. And yes, can we use Kaffir information to help us? Yes. For example, schedules. Can you use a schedule to dictate? I need to be more disciplined on reading the Quran. I don't see a problem with that at all. There's no problem with that. But we don't take their mindsets and we don't develop ourselves for the same reason, which is dunya. It's not about us and our achievement. It's about pleasing Allah. So let's get into practically how to implement this in our lives. There's 3 principles of Islamic self-development based on the 4 benchmarks that we spoke about just now. The first principle is Ubudiyyah. The second principle is Tazkiyah. And the third principle is Rujula. 3 of these together, which are derived from Islam, form Islamic self-development for men. So the first point, Ubudiyyah. It's not about you, it's about Allah. We've been taught by modern society, and especially self-improvement, that the purpose of our life is just about achieving personal pleasure, self-worship. Right? And the truth is, you say it like that, that's how it is. When we just live a life thinking, we're conscious about what our nafs want, we're conscious about what we want, we live a life striving for what we want, who are we worshipping? Who are we serving? Are we serving Allah or are we serving ourselves? Self-improvement people take the high road. They say, we don't like instant gratification people because all they want to do is gratify their desires. They look like animals. If you just look at delayed gratification, right, in terms of in dunya, it's still gratification. The intention's the same. The only difference is that you just take longer. You're still a servant to your nafs. And what does Allah Azza wa Jal say about that? He says, have you seen the one who takes as God his own desire? And the truth is, when you think about it, and we're going to expand on that, when you're on self-improvement, you really take your God as your desire. When your nafs want a certain amount of money per month, you slave away for your nafs and you grind and you stay up late nights and you wake up early and you discipline until you get a certain amount of money per month. Right? And when your nafs want to get a 6-pack, you suffer and you don't eat and you train and you pain until you get it. So really all we do is we suffer and we are in pain until our nafs are gratified. Because there are certain things that the nafs want that just aren't instant gratification. All you do in self-improvement, and even Islamic self-improvement to a large extent, is suffer to gratify your nafs long term. And all normal people do is relax to gratify their nafs short term. And so that is the enacted purpose of their life. And the funny thing is that all those people, you see them, that they chase delayed gratification and they chase instant gratification, they're still empty. No matter how many times YouTubers complete their purpose, they didn't really do it. Because they got the wrong purpose. It's not even correct. So they're always going to feel empty. Even for me, being on self-improvement for like almost half a decade, I didn't feel anything. I strive to have a certain body. It meant nothing. A certain amount of followers at some point. It meant nothing. Because it is nothing. And when you attach yourself to these nothings, you feel nothing. Because it means nothing. And so, hub ad-dunya is the disease that fuels this. We have been brainwashed through colonialism through our parents and capitalism through our worldview that worldly acquisition is all we're made for, that we just need to satisfy our nafs and get the best and the best and the best, no matter how, to make the elites billions. That's it. The more that we focus on worldly acquisition, we just make the elites billions and billions of dollars, because that's our purpose of our lives, to be their workers. And the more and more money, this is the mindset that even I fall into based on my environment. I feel as though my family will only see me and accept me if I have a good job with money and a nice house. Then I am valuable, or I am doing something productive with my life. Is that all I'm worth? I'm just another cog in the system. Whether I'm a digital nomad or a bank worker. It's the same thing. And the reality about making dunya achievements and making the dunya your self-worth or even your purpose of life is that no one cares about you. Nobody. You were born alone, you will die alone. None of it will matter. No matter how much you show off, there's always someone else with a bigger fish. You come with a 458 GDB from 2015, someone's going to come with a LaFerrari, right? That's how it's going to work. Second, your nafs will never be fulfilled. You could give it the G-Wagon this year, you'll want the G-Wagon next year. You could get the iPhone 15 this year, you'll want the iPhone 16 next year. You'll never be satisfied if you don't put a stop to it. And number 3, you're going to die and it's not going to matter. What's going to matter is your deeds. On that day when you're in the grave and you're asked those 3 questions, are you going to answer them correctly? On that day when you stand in front of Allah, what are you going to say? Ya Allah, I lived my entire life getting a 6-pack. Why? Because someone told me to. Ya Allah, I spent my whole life getting money. Why? Because I wanted to. Not because you had a real intention to, because you wanted to hoard it. You don't want to give it either. And Allah Azza wa Jal says, the life of this world is merely an enjoyment of delusion. So this cause that we spend our waking hour in, يعني is about my business, my work, my money, my body, my worldly status, my this, my that. And it's all an enjoyment of delusion. It's not gonna matter at all. The cure of this is Ubudiyyah. Allah says that I did not create jinn and humans except to worship me. And this is the stated purpose of life from our Creator. You know, why not actually use the skills of self-improvement that we learn to push this to the limit? You know, we have so much discipline, and we have so many systems, and we have so many this. Why don't we push this purpose to the limit, not us? Why not? And I'm telling you, this purpose is going to make you fulfilled. It's going to get you people that care about you for the sake of Allah. It's going to get you actual true status and honor in this life and the next, because all honor belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal. You're also going to succeed in this life and the next. Ubudiyyah means to live our lives striving to please Allah Azza wa Jal. Yani to accept our role as His abd, and to do everything to fulfill that role. Whether it's obeying commands, following the sunnah, or even doing every single action with the niyyah of trying to attain Allah's pleasure. Right? From washing the dishes to making money. Right? All of that can be done. And so I want you to make this your primary driver, and you'll win that with this life and the next. If you take away your goals and you from this, and you make it about Allah, it's going to be unreal. So the actionable step for this is to ask Allah sincerely to make you stop caring about your selfish pursuits, to make you stop caring about your $10,000 a month goal, to make you stop caring about your six-pack or whatever, and to guide you to pursuits that will be for His cause, right? And what I want you to do is actively go and look in your goals, right? Go and look at your goals. And I want you to change these to outcomes, right? That are going to please Allah. Like, instead of making it a goal for you, you make it an outcome that will please Allah. For example, $10,000 a month could be hijrah. $10,000 a month could be marriage, right? Now, marriage means you have to make money. But do you have to make 10,000, or can you make 2,000? Can you make 3,000? Can you make 1,000? It depends. But we're putting these goals, but what do you actually want as an outcome? You want to please Allah. How? Through the hijrah, through marriage. And that's it. And we'll speak about Zuhur later. But change these goals that you've been given and programmed with outcomes that will please Allah. Even training. Instead of get 95 kg, it's become a warrior of Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? Become, which means getting fit, getting strong, getting big to please Allah Azza wa Jal, to be ready for when He needs you. Point number 2 is Tazkiyah and Nafs. Right? This is the second principle, and this is just about being akhirah focused. This is about purifying us for the end. So Ubudiyyah is the goal. The goal is to live our life trying to please Allah with everything we have. And Tazkiyah is our process of achieving that goal. Purifying your soul and getting rid of the bad practically. So there's two aspects of Tazkiyah and Nafs. Aspect is jihad. You need to do jihad of your nafs, which means you have to strive to get away from the haram and the lahu. I don't have to explain that haram is bad and lahu is not going to help you. And to purify our soul, we have to get rid of it. So the actionable is that I want you to choose one haram habit and one lahu habit. The lahu habit could be watching TV. The haram habit could be listening to music. And I want you to focus on getting rid of these two until you're done, and then do it again. And if you want some help with that, we have the free full guides on the channel. But the better thing would be the Annihilate Haram Habits Toolkit. It's basically a starter pack to help you start this journey, to start with your first few haram habits and to understand the secrets behind fighting jihadul nafs and winning against shaitan bi'idhnillah, as well as some tools for that. So check that out in the description. Sign up for that list so that when it comes out, you can get it bi'idhnillah. Purification, productivity. This is the second thing. So I wanted to explain this concept. The point of purification, productivity is to generate salihat. So the first part we talked about jihad, the second part we're going to talk about tazkiyah. So there's two ways. The general way to purify your soul is by doing good deeds to please Allah. And this can be done through indirect and direct or ibadah. You know, like direct or ibadah would be specific acts of worship in sharia. You know, salah, dhikr. And indirect or ibadah is daily things, or things in your development as a man, or things you have to do as a man. And even general things like washing the dishes to please Allah Azza wa Jal, right? So making these other things to please Allah Azza wa Jal. There are three types of intentions as per the book, the Barakah Effect, right? In terms of the pillar of the way that we explain it. The three intentions that will be to be rewarded is I understand this as like, you know, yani you want to have a higher sense of a nafs. You want to be closer to nafs al-mutma'inna. You want to be closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, basically. When you do something because you want to be closer to Allah, you don't want to be further away. Number two, you want to be in Jannah and you want to be away from Jahannam. And number three is you do it for Allah, right? And when you say I do it fi sabilillah, of course we want to be rewarded from Allah, but to do it truly for the sake of Allah, you really do not expect anything. You'd only desire Allah's pleasure. And we should aim to push ourselves to this high level. But all these three types of wanting to be spiritually closer to Allah, wanting to get away from Jahannam and closer to Jannah, and wanting to do it to please Allah Azza wa Jalla in some sort of way, this is great. This is what we want to push our intentions towards, away from our past, shahawat. Now, the first point in terms of intentions and making this indirect ibadah of your entire life, which is Islamic self-development basically, is that you can't force intentions. You have to strive to disregard useless intentions first. You can't just fake intentions and really you just want to do it for yourself. You got to get rid of this first. And the three stages of your useless intentions is what's in it for me, i.e. me, my success. B is fame and recognition, ar-riya. And number 3 is the feel-good factor. Even healthy. I want to be healthy. It feels good. Okay, cool. It's a physical thing. You feel good. Even I sometimes want to feel good. But that's not only is it not stable, but it's not really anything tangible. It's just about you, again. It's a higher sense than just I want to eat food because I want to feed my base desires. But it's not higher, as we spoke about. And so the best way to achieve getting rid of these desires is through dua. Ask Allah to sincerely ask Him to get rid of these from you, to purge them from you, and to replace them with authentic good action, good intentions every day. And so let's get into the actionable step of number 3 in Islamic self-development is cultivating your intentions. So I want you to look at your schedule. I have mine right over here, right? And I'm going to explain it to you. And what I want you to do is I want you to look at every single task in your schedule, and I want you to ask a question, why? Because we don't like asking this question. Let's really get deeper. So you say, why do I wake up at 5:50? Like, I'm asking myself, why do I wake up at 5:50? I wake up at 5:50 because of Fajr, right? Okay. Why do you do Fajr? Let's say someone wants to do Fajr. Maybe someone says, why do you do Fajr? I fear Allah. I don't want to go to Jahannam. I know it's a sin. I don't want to go to Jahannam. It's one of the biggest sins in Islam, to miss Salah. Okay, why else do you do it? The big reason he just said, he fears Allah, right? He doesn't want to go to Jahannam. Why else? I feel closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. So we said that spiritual fulfillment, which is level 1. We've gotten fear of Allah in terms of Jahannam, which is one of the intentions we spoke about. And the other one is, spiritual fulfillment. Why else? I want to please Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, great. Now, if someone said, I pray Fajr, why? Because I recite loud and people can hear me. Na'udhu billah. Now we're getting sus, right? But you ask yourself, why do you go to the gym? I want a 6-pack. Why? Because I want to feel good. Why? Because I want girls to like me. Why? So I can have sex with them. This is the general, reason, right? For most people. Let's say you ask someone else, a Muslim, why do you go to the gym? He says part of it is to feel good. Not much. Part of it is because I get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Part of it is to please Him through taking care of His amana. Part of it is because I fear doing haram things in this time. And most of it is because I want to be a soldier of Allah Azza wa Jal. I want to be pleased with me and my body to use me as a sword. Do you see the point? That's the intention. But what I want to explain here is you're likely gonna have tainted intentions, and that is normal. Remember, for this first example of the gym, we said the Muslim, part of him wants to do it to feel good. We explained that is a useless desire. It doesn't help him in the akhirah. That's about him. But a part of him also wants to do it to please Allah, and a part of him also wants to do it because he want to do haram, and a part of him also wants to do it to get closer to Allah. So you see how there's all these different intentions in one action. For that example, you can see that there's tainted things. So he has to work on that taint. And to work on that taint, you just have to ask Allah in dua to purify your intentions and purify your intentions and purify your intentions and get rid of it about you. Keep doing that every single day. Or before you make the action, go and make that dua that Allah purifies your intention and accept it for His cause, right? And then you'll have mixed intentions. So tainted intentions are intentions that are good with useless ones. Mixed intentions are lots of different levels of good. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Like we said, spiritual fulfillment, Jannah, and for the sake of Allah, right? So let's say someone prays Fajr. If his first answer and his true answer was because it makes my Rabb happy with me, then he did it for the sake of Allah. If he did it because he was afraid of Jahannam, then he primarily did it because of that. But he could want to please Allah and primarily still do it because he wants to not go to Jahannam, right? There's always going to be a factor of that switch. It's very hard to do things purely for the sake of Allah. But what we care about is getting rid of these useless intentions and move forward into the good intentions that will be rewarded for you, right? What I want you to do here is to apply the disciplined mindset that you learned in self-improvement to the deen, right? The mindset of, I hate it, so I have to do it. So your nafs and shaitan have been cooking you by making you think that you're super disciplined when you're doing things for the dunya, when really he just doesn't want you to do it for the akhirah. If you were to start really doing jihad al nafs for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal and pleasing him, you would see pushback like you've never seen. So every single time when it comes to trying to generate salihat and being productive, every single time that you don't want to do something, if it's fasting, if it's dhikr, if it's going to the masjid, if it's doing nafil salah, if it's doing tawbah, whatever you don't feel like doing, that's exactly when you have to do it. Like the concept that David Goggins talks about, where, I hate it. That's exactly what I gotta do. So, if you don't want to fast, for example, you wake up, I'm intention to fast, I really don't want to fast, that's exactly when you have to fast. Because that is the territory that shaitan holds over you. And to develop yourself in Islamic self-development, you're developing these nafs. So you have to go to war against them and go against it. And to the third point, which is Rujula and who you're supposed to be, right? So the first point in Rujula is the Sunnah and the Salaf as Rijal. You analyze business, right? When you want to succeed in business, you look at people who were businessmen. Why? Because cause and effect, likely you'll learn a lot of causes that lead to good effects by Allah's permission, right? So for example, there's a book of Richard Branson here. So I haven't read it, I got gifted it. But you would read books like that, right? How do I become an entrepreneur? I gotta do what he does, live his life, whatever. That's how I'm gonna do it. But when we want to succeed in the deen, the dunya, and the akhirah, we should emulate those who want the deen, the dunya, and the akhirah. But like I said, we analyze open sinners and we analyze kuffar as men. Who we should be analyzing is the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man who gave his life. I mean, he had 40 years. He was a wonderful trader. He was a wonderful man. He had tribal strong ties. But he gave it all up for this mission, for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the lesson we learn. And that's what the man should be. He should be on his mission for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. A mission to please him. Not for yourself. We look at Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, a man who literally used the embodiment of what he used everything he had to serve the deen of Allah. His body, his money, his brain, his voice, his leadership. Like when I say his brain, I mean his capacity, his intellect as a leader. His family, everything he had, he gave. Umar ibn Khattab, he used his intellect as a leader. He used his strength physically and mentally to, even his ability to read and write, he helped. You look at the Sahaba, they used their ability to read and write to write the Mus'hab. You know what I mean? And even Uthman ibn Affan, what is this man? He used his wealth for the sake of Allah. And you look at Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman was really rich, but he left all his wealth to do the hijrah. What we see from these men is that they yearned for Allah's pleasure. They yearned for the akhirah. They didn't care about this world. Abdul Rahman, people use this excuse. I'm not going to talk about Zuhud. Abdul Rahman is rich, so I can be rich. Abdul Rahman gave all of it up. Did he want to? No. Everyone loves keeping their wealth. That's why he hid it. But when he had a choice to choose between the hijrah and the money, he chose the hijrah. Same thing with Uthman. Uthman was really rich. What did he do? He bought the well, right, in Medina, and the well makes dates. And actually, until today, Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu an still has a waqf going for him. SubhanAllah, it's crazy. That is what we have to be. That is a man. A man is not what these kuffar tell you to be. A man is these men, and we should be like him. And we should learn from them. So the first actionable that I want to talk about, there's like a billion things we can learn from them, but the real actionable is zuhud. The biggest issue with men these days is that we believe that masculinity is getting Ferraris and getting a penthouse in JBR, and this is masculinity. This is what we should be. This is what the men. No, what is zuhud? And don't be like, oh, he's a brokey. That's why. No, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived like this. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh lived like this. Umar ibn Khattab lived like this. So don't come to me and call me a brokey, okay? Don't let this programming take over your mind. These are what men did. So what is zuhud? Zuhud is not, mashallah, showing everyone that you have ragged clothes. No, it's about using what you need and leaving what is excess. It's about it's not pretending like you don't have needs, but it's about being content with what is required. In the world where we're just programmed to buy and buy, zuhud is the cure to consumerism. You have to put a stop to it. And Rasulullah said that whoever among you wakes up secure in his home, healthy in his body, and has his food for the day, it is as if the world and everything in it has been gathered for him. It's Hassan from At-Tirmidhi. That's what richness is. And we don't appreciate it. We don't appreciate having food, water, the ability to speak, a safe home. Even for me, I won't lie. We very much gloss over the fact that today we woke up. Number one. B, no one's trying to kill me. No bombs have dropped on me. But we're so filthy in the West. Oh, I need to make my money so that I can... Shut up, please. I'm so angry because this is how I lived. And I don't want you guys to go down this path. The real richness means that you don't waste your life chasing more. It's about understanding that dunya is temporary and therefore it must be treated as temporary. Like, think about the parable of high-risk investment and low-risk investment. In making high-risk investments, you are only supposed to invest what you're prepared to lose. You should go in knowing that there's a pretty good chance that you're going to lose all this money. But that's the point. High risk, high reward. But when it comes to low risk investment, you put a lot, but over time it matures and it's worth it. You got to ask yourself, this dunya is the high risk investment. You don't know if you're going to reap. You don't know if you put the money now, is Allah going to give it back to you? Or are you going to be cut off, sustained? Is this the end of your risk and you're going to die? You don't know. It's a high risk investment. Every dime you spend that is not in the sake of Allah is an investment. It's very high risk. But every dime you spend in the cause of Allah is low risk. Because you know, if I did it with intention, this is going to come back to me. This is going to come back to me. That's the point. So it's not about, he just tells you that you shouldn't make money. No, I didn't say that. It's that you don't need Supremo Gucci to wear clean clothes. You don't need to live in JBR to have a basic house. You don't need to drive a Ferrari or a Bugatti to get in anywhere. This understanding and this concept of materialism is masculinity. It's not. Wallah, it's not. Or else you guys would be telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he's wrong. I'm not saying this about you. I'm saying this about the mindset of kuffar. Right? I get so annoyed that this is what we do and we program our kids to believe in this. Really think, like, when I sat down and really said, Sultan, what do you want in your life? What do you need? Really, what do you need in life? And I said, a safe home, an office for me, right? A little bookshelf with books that are beneficial, basic food that's healthy, a place to train so that I could, away from the haram, transport, a way to go around, a masjid close to me, and some basic entertainment, PlayStation 4. But what else do you need in life? Like, really, in this dunya, if you got your 5 times salah in the masjid, you're seeking knowledge, you're working on your provision and your mission, what else do you need? And that's my point. I'm even exaggerating. The real thing you only need in dunya, Zaman, is you need food, shelter, clothes, transport, and a masjid. That's it. What else do you need? If this life is nothing, and ultimately all you need is to be able to fulfill the injunction of Sharia, of course, marriage, etc., and stuff like that. But you, as a man, you don't need much. You don't need much. If you have a basic riding beast, who cares if it was from 10 years ago? If you have a nice safe home that's next to a masjid that you did hijrah for, alhamdulillah, why do you have to live in JBR? What you should spend, this is the high risk investment. This is you spending on what is required, and even then you can do it for the sake of Allah with the correct intention. But what you should spend on is where it matters. It's protecting your family in the future, which we learned from Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, who wanted to give his wealth in the sake of Allah. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that he should leave inheritance for his family, 2/3 and 1/3 in the sake of Allah. Right? The second thing is to give in the cause of Allah. Uthman ibn Affan is a wonderful example of this with his waqf well, which still pays him dividends today, with his giving in Tabuk, giving in the cause of Allah. Even the morsel hadith, like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, like, basically giving your house charity or earning money is charity for them, to feed your wife, if you do it with that intention as well, it's to please Allah azza wa jal. So for you, what you need, you don't have to spend much of the high risk investment. What you should be doing is trying your best to give out in the place of the low risk investment of the akhirah all the time. And also spend your reasonable portion in dunya. We'll talk about that. Because Allah says portion in the dunya. He didn't say the entire dunya. Zuhud is not about hating the dunya. It's about knowing your portion of it and letting it go. Let it go. You buy clean clothes that are fair quality. Doesn't have to be designer. Doesn't have to be. I didn't say it's haram. I didn't say Sultan said that if I get it, no, I didn't say that. I said there's no point. Like, why? It's like, you could, like, I'm not saying once in a while. I really, mashallah, I really like it. I'm already giving in this cause and this cause. Alhamdulillah, I really want to take. It's a high risk investment. Okay, one thing, I really like it. But even then, why? Next, a car. Yani, why do you need to buy a Ferrari? You know, you could just rent a Ferrari for 3 days. You would not really care anymore. This normalization bias is something you forget. You could get a basic car with utility and a utility, and then just go rent a Ferrari once every year or something, and you'd be like, wow, I'm driving this Ferrari, it's sick. And then you'd get tired of it, and then you just drive a car. It's about not caring. And don't feed your ego to buy a house. Why does the house have to be in JBR? Why can't it be in Ajman? Yani, if you want to do hijrah in UAE, right? Why you gotta live in downtown Riyadh? Why can't you live around? There's so many ways you can get to the same outcome with less money, so that you can use the other money for the sake of Allah. Zuhud means in here, you don't really care. You understand where it is. And ultimately, it's living on what's essential. It's enjoying what is reasonable. Yani, in time, if what is reasonable, you've spent all this money for the sake of Allah, may Allah accept it. You've taken care of your family. You've put investment account ready for them, Sharia, and you have been financially disciplined for so long, and you have this opportunity to go on holiday with your wife. Why not? You spend her her portion. You spend for the sake of Allah. For you, okay, fine. You want to buy a business class flight if it's reasonable, alhamdulillah, okay. But it's reasonable, right? Don't be unreasonable. Don't make it the point either. The point of money and the point of you spending should not be about you. Honey, and you give what is excessive. You give and you spend more than you use. That's when your money's gonna matter, because you're putting it in the true investment. And it's not about being a brokey. It's about living the way the greatest men of the Ummah live. Even the Khulafa, they would even go further. I'm even saying, get a nice bed, bread 3 times a day with some food and meat. Alhamdulillah, what a big life that is actually. Like, we're so overprivileged. I'm even being nice, saying you can buy a car and a house. And if you just had a nice bread, you'd already be ahead of Rasulullah in terms of his zuhud. And I'm not saying you have to suffer, but stop caring. Follow the principle that they followed about essentials and essentials. Even trying your best to go a little bit below essentials, like fasting, etc. So I'm not actually saying get less money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying spend less money on you. Actually, you should be working on getting even more money, because now it's not about you. Now it's about spending in the cause of Allah for the rest of your life and gaining that investment. Go read Hayat al-Sahaba, go learn about the Seerah, because we learned Steve Jobs to learn business. We should learn the Rijal to become a Rajul. And the last thing, which is the most important thing, I know the video is long. The message, Ar-Risala, is our message. It's our purpose. We Muslims in the modern world, we live without mission. And the reason we feel empty is because our mission was already given to us by Allah. As a Khalifa, we were placed here to be a deputy of Allah, to establish His law, to establish the good and spread it around. Even kuffar, the kuffar, they do this thing where they change their purpose. I achieved my purpose. You've heard this. But they still feel empty. They still, the whole point is that you wrap the onion and the onion wraps and then you get a new purpose. When is it gonna end? But this is shahawat. It's just what you desire to be. We as Muslims, as a general principle, we think Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came as sealed with the prophets, with our message, and then the Sahaba came, and then they spread it, and then khalas, it's done, Islam is finished. Huh? What? Who said the mission was done? Just because there's no other prophets doesn't mean that there was not a point that was meant to be held. That's the whole point of being a Khalifa. Actually, it's about understanding that the reality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's message is that it's our message and it's our mission. The messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because is the statement La ilaha illallah complete? There is no other God but Allah. No, I'd say it's even further down the hall. Because we Muslims make money and clothes and cars and whatever our God instead of Allah. How did Islam even get its mushaf? How did it spread? How are me and you Muslims today? Technically, I do come from a born chain, right? From my one side of the family. So there's a chain from that family all the way to a revert who heard Islam, who went all the way to the Sahaba, who heard Islam from all the way to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of those people, all of us, we only know Deen because Sahaba took that mission upon themselves. It's not like they said, Rasulullah's done, let's just stick to the Arabian Peninsula, let's not do anything crazy. No. They said this is the mission that we were given. We are going to do it. We're going to spread it. We are going to be good. And we're going to spread good around the world. And what happened? They spread good around the world. Of course, there's fitna, etc. But my point is, that's the point. The reason we have all this benefit is because they took the mission upon themselves. All of us inherit the mission of spreading Islam around the world. And I think we forget that our mission is to spread this deen and to express this deen and to put authority of Allah Azza wa Jal on the earth. From the state of the person to the state of a community to the state of a nation. All of it should be the authority of Allah. There's not be authority over anyone else. We live in a horrible time. I mean, don't you get angry about watching these foolish leaders with their foolish ideologies? And I remember when I went to New York, right? When I was a kid, I never expected, coming from Africa. No, we don't live in huts, okay? Coming from South Africa, you go to America, you're like, wow, this is the US, this is gonna be great. But there's so many poor people. Society is destroying itself. Everywhere around the world, there's inequality and it's broken and it's unjust. There's no justice. What's gonna bring justice? They've tried all these different ideologies. Only one that's left is the true one. So don't you want to help people? Don't you want people to stop dying? For every single faith, don't you want people to stop dying? Don't you want good to be spread? Don't you want people's rights and the communal rights to be respected? Don't you want a world that is better? That's what our mission is. To complete the cause of Islam, which is to spread the authority of Allah Azza wa Jalla all over the world, and especially to spread the message all over the world. To every household. Doing da'wah. Doing da'wah to the ummah. Giving power to the ummah. Helping them. That's the point. It needs us. We're not gonna just succeed and be victorious or whatever because of the sky. La, you gotta do it. And then Allah will give His nasr. If we change ourselves, if we say, my purpose is I want to help in this cause of Allah Azza wa Jal, because it needs us. The ummah needs rijal. It was built by rijal, by Allah's permission, and it needs rijal again, because it lost it. And actionable number 7, because of this, is to understand that you look at the ummah, and you look at all the sectors of the ummah, and you ask Allah Azza wa Jal with ikhlas to guide you to your unique mission for His cause. What is that greater mission you serve in this ummah that transcends everything else? Because the only cause worth fighting for is the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? Every other cause is but false. Is it in business? Are you meant to start a business that will have a product that will benefit the ummah? Are you meant to do street da'wah? Are you meant to be a scholar? Are you meant to be the inheritors of the prophets in that sense? Are you meant to teach? Or do you want to teach Arabic? What is the mission? What is the thing you're here to do for His cause? How can you serve His cause? How can you serve His religion? Because when we die, what other honor is there except serving the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal? Except striving for it, to be uplifted. Maybe your mission is to revive ilm, to revive the khilafah, to revive in what is halal. Don't misunderstand me. What is haram, get out of me. You're not for me. What is halal? Revive rijal, revive hadith, revive physical strength in the ummah. Reviving whatever it is. What do you want to do to this nation? And that grounds you into the goals that you should have. And that is real mission, real purpose for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is developing yourself. We've spoken about the 3 principles, which is how you should view your life, which is in Ubudiyyah, trying to spend every moment of your life in the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. Next, we talked about Tazkiyah, which is the practical process of that. Getting rid of the haram, doing direct ibadah and challenging yourself. And then we spoke about indirect ibadah and spending every single moment developing ourselves as men, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's going to the business, whether it's going to work, whether it's washing the dishes. Try your best to make it for the intention to please Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? And the next thing we spoke about was Rujula, learning from Rijal and how they lived, to stop caring about this life and to focus on the true mission, which is the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. After you've taken care of your required amount, what matters is this deen, and we've lost that, and we need to reclaim that for us to be men. So Jazakallah khair for sticking with me. I just want to say that if you are interested in finally making a dent in those filthy habits that you have, you just can't get out of the cycle, go and check out the Annihilate Haram Habits toolbox in the description. It's a starter kit with a handbook, a tool that's the most secret tools to help you with this. And go check out there. You can register for the email thing. You can also go check out the Sultan Brotherhood. We have a community of like-minded, real serious rijal like you who make us the end of the video. Check out in the description. Support our da'wah if you want to. In the description as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.